This story follows a small time hustler who has an odd ability. He can sense exactly what people will need in the near future. He doesn't understand how his intuition works, but he often buys and sells items at just the right moment, always profiting because he somehow knows what will become important. One day he meets Fred, a desperate and aggressive man who immediately recognizes the gift and tries to exploit it. Fred pressures him to predict the future for personal gain, demanding specific items that will make him rich or powerful. He reluctantly complies, providing Fred with objects that seem random, but are clearly what he needs. At first, Fred believes he has discovered a shortcut to wealth and control, but his greed quickly escalates. He demands more and more, becoming increasingly forceful and threatening him. He becomes uneasy, sensing that Fred's path is dangerous, but unable to fully stop him from pushing forward. The twist reveals the true nature of the gift. It's not simply about helping people succeed, it also serves as a form of quiet balance or correction. In Fred's case, what he needs is not success, but something far more immediate and final. In the end, Fred's relentless greed leads him directly into a fatal accident involving one of the very items provided. The episode closes with the implication that fate, not fortune, was being guided all along. Like many stories in the Twilight Zone, it delivers an ironic moral twist about greed, destiny, and the danger of trying to control forces you don't understand. Steve Cochran was an American actor best known for playing tough, often villainous or morally ambiguous characters in classic Hollywood films and television during the 1940s and 1950s. Born Robert Alexander Cochran on May 25, 1917, in Eureka, California, he worked a variety of jobs, including ranch work, before studying at the University of Wyoming and pursuing acting. He began in theater and Broadway productions before breaking into Hollywood in the mid 40s. Cochran became widely recognized during the film noir era, where his rugged looks and intense screen presence made him a natural fit for gangster and hard edged roles. One of his most famous performances was in White Heat, 1949, where he played a ruthless gang member opposite James Cagney. He also appeared in other such films as The Chase, 1946, and Inside the Walls of Folsom Prison, 1951. In the early 1950s and early 1960s, he transitioned more into television work, guest starring in numerous series and occasionally taking leading roles. He also tried his hand at producing, directing, and writing, including the 1965 film Tell Me in the Sunlight, which he made himself. Outside of acting, Cochran was known for a highly publicized personal life and frequent tabloid attention, particularly regarding relationships and a reputation as a Hollywood bad boy. He died in 1965 at age 48 while on a sailing trip off the coast of Central America shortly before the release of his final film project. Ernest Truex was an American stage, film, and television actor whose career spanned more than 50 years, beginning in the early 1900s and continuing into the television era. Born in 1889 in Kansas City, Missouri, Truex began acting on stage as a young man and quickly became known for his comedic timing and mild mannered, slightly befuddled screen persona. He spent many years working in Broadway productions before transitioning into Hollywood films during the silent and early sound eras. Truex appeared in a wide range of films, often playing nervous, gentle, or humorous supporting characters. As television rose in popularity in the 1950s, he adapted easily to the new medium and became a familiar guest star in anthology and comedy series. Truex continued acting into his later years, maintaining his reputation for gentle humor and warmth. He died in 1973, leaving behind a legacy as dependable character actor who brought sincerity and charm to both stage and screen roles. When the leaky pen drips on the newspaper indicating which horse Renard should bet on, if you look closely, you'll see among the names of the jockeys Clemens, Houghton, and Denault, and Sterling. George Clemens was director of photography in the episode. Buck Houghton was producer, Edward DeKnopp was the assistant director, and of course, Rod Serling created it. When the bellboy brings the newspaper, the Daily Chronicle, to Fred, the headlines is seen to read H-bomb capable of total destruction. This is the same newspaper prop used in Time Enough at Last. Since his scarf was not knotted around his neck, all he had to do was turn his body to twist it off. There was no need to use scissors. Just before Renard is run over by the 1959 DeSoto, there's a 1959 Ford in the background. The location of the Ford changes from one shot to the next. And after Renard is struck by the car, you can immediately see the outline of the padding under the clothing to cushion the fall for the actor or stuntman. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. The way Ernest Truex seems so meek and mild and yet held the fate of everyone in his hand is the mark of a great actor and a great script. If there was anything to knock it down a peg, it would be Steve Cochran's portrayal of Fred. It may be the writing, but he came off as very one dimensional. But on the whole, I give this 4 out of 5.